and welcome to our Fast English News edition. First, the headlines. The Baji Mukhtar Ship 3 is operational following the ceremony chaired by the Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, Ayman bin Abdurrahman, reinforcing the National Maritime Fleet. A tribute is paid to journalists and technicians for their professionalism and dedication on the occasion of the 59th anniversary for recovering sovereignty over the national radio and television. The national television programs are boosted by a host of talented journalists working for a Shababiya or youth channel. And we finally pay a visit to the enchanting southern region of Jannat, still attracting more and more visitors. Those were today's headlines. First, in our topical news, the Baji Mukhtar Ship 3 is operational following the ceremony presided over by the Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, Ayman bin Abdurrahman. This ship will reinforce the National Maritime Fleet and give an impetus to the tourism sector. The details with Manal Maafa.
This first collaboration between Algeria and China in shipbuilding can carry 1,800 passengers with a total space of more than 20,000 square meters, with more than 500 cabins for passengers and nearly 100 cabins for the crew. It will allow Algeria to regain its position on the international tourist market.
We currently have 3 new ships which will be operated in an optimal way, in particular for the transportation of passengers between the 2 shores of the Mediterranean basin, before moving towards new destinations in Africa and Asia, and if possible for the pilgrimage and Umrah.
The Prime Minister hailed the efforts and mobilization of young graduates from Algerian hospitality and maritime schools who are in charge of the management of this ship.
We noticed the presence of young graduates from some of the greatest hospitality schools of Algeria and one of the best maritime schools in Africa, which is the School of Bousmaïl. It is them who will be in charge of operating this ship, and we wish them all the success in the world. As a reminder, this project is part of the commitments of the President of the Republic, which were integrated in his program to consolidate maritime transportation in Algeria.
The Baji Mukhtar 3, the latest ship acquired by Algérie Ferry, the Algerian maritime transportation company, has luxurious dining areas, stores and other entertainment facilities put at the disposal of the passengers.
In another context, the Premier extended his best wishes to the journalists of both the Algerian National Television and Radio on the occasion of the 28th of October, which commemorates the recovery of national sovereignty over the national radio and television. Let's have a listen.
We would like to congratulate all journalists, wishing them the best luck in their job so they could give the best image of Algeria and what the country achieved since the recovery of independence from the French colonizer from July 1962 till July 2022, a memory we all need to prepare for. This great memory of the 60th anniversary of recovering national independence needs to be shown to the world, highlighting the great achievements of the country during this short period. This proves the strength of our country.
In the foreign cooperation field, the Premier Minister of Finance, Ayman bin Abdurrahman, received the Tanzanian Energy Minister in a bid to reinforce cooperation between the 2 countries in different sectors of endeavor. Foreign Affairs Minister Mtal Mamra received on Thursday the Tanzanian Energy Minister, January Yusuf Makamba. The 2 ministers underlined their will to strengthen the bilateral economic cooperation, particularly in the field of energy, in order to achieve optimal use of the enormous potential available in the 2 countries. Moving on to a memorandum of understanding in the field of production, transport and distribution and electrical energy was signed on Thursday in Algiers between the Minister of Energy, Mohamed Arqab, and his Tanzanian counterpart, January Yusuf Makamba. The signing of this memorandum took place during an enlarged audience granted by Mr. Arqab to the Tanzanian Minister of Energy at the headquarters of the ministry.
We have come with a very specific mission, which is to concretize and realize these long-term political relationships into concrete actions that will serve and help our people. So I've brought a special message from our President, Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, to the President of Algeria and government of Algeria and the people of Algeria. The message carries a warm and fraternal message. We also have come here with my brother in the Ministry of Energy and Mines to talk about very specific areas of cooperation. We're looking to work with the government of Algeria, the Ministry of Energy and Mines, Sonelgas and Sonatrach.
On the occasion of the 59th anniversary of recovering sovereignty over the Algerian National Radio and Television, a tribute was paid to journalists and technicians for their professionalism and dedication for their job. A commemorative ceremony was held at the headquarters of the State TV, or APTV, in the presence of the Communication Minister Amar Belhimer, the General Director of APTV, Sha'ban Lounekel, the General Director of National Radio, Mohammed Bougali, the Director of the Algerian Television Broadcasting Center, Fadila Bousloua, as well as journalists, state radio and television executives. The Communication Minister Amar Belhimer emphasized during this, or seized this opportunity to give a statement to the media in which he encouraged journalists in their profession. Algerian media professionals recovered their sovereignty over the national television and radio on October 28, 1962, which at the time remained under the French colonizers' control. These brave Algerians successfully overcame all the challenges thrown their way, thanks to their hard work and determination. More on the topic with Manal Amari.
October 28th. An important date in the history of the national television establishment, or the EPTV. On that momentous day, Algeria recovered sovereignty over this media outlet from the French 59 years ago.
What happened that day, that very day? What happened? In the morning, they decided to take over, to enter the television, the national television, which was the French fifth channel of the French television. And they raised the flag, the Algerian flag. The an armed group was with them, commando, and the French army could not resist to that. So they left, but still convinced that anyway they would be called back because the Algerian would not be able to rule this television.
Getting rid of the French management was extremely challenging, but Algerian media professionals were up to the task and produced their own movies, shows and newscasts without requiring any help from foreigners.
On the 28th of October, we faced a huge challenge, and we won, just like we won our independence, facing one of the biggest army in the world. So nobody could stop us. Between 62 and 72, in 10 years, we were able to build a very important service of programming, of production, of news, and the Algerian RTA, the Algerian Radio Television Broadcasting, was considered or regarded as one of the biggest and the best corporations in the Mediterranean.
With the support of the older generations, the younger generation, who already has all the necessary potential and skills, will successfully run the EPTV in the future.
On this momentous event, let's put the spotlight on one of the prominent sports figures, namely Ben Youssef Oudia, who was behind the success of many talented journalists and commentators. Ines Kalou has more.
Ben Youssef Oudia, a legend in the realm of sports. He was among those who launched the sports service despite the lack of experience in the field and the numerous challenges he had to face along with a host of reporters and technicians.
It was a very brave and nationalist position of the TV and radio employees to recover sovereignty and convey the real message of their newly independent state. I joined the Algerian television in 1965 when just 22 years old. I was very young. We were few, but we managed to meet the challenges despite the lack of technical support.
Restoring sovereignty over this Algerian media tycoon was not an easy task. It required many sacrifices and efforts to hoist the national flag and meet the viewers' expectations of the freshly independent states.
Becoming a journalist was my childhood dream. When I was hired by the national television, I used to stand on the other side of the building to admire the national flag, which was, for me, a source of pride and happiness. It was really moving to be a journalist in independent Algeria.
Being retired, Ben Youssef Oudia is still ready to help the young commentators and sports journalists, as he did in the past, and was behind the success of others, now making the glory of famous sports channels, notably in the Arab world.
النهائية للكأس في كرة السلة وتميزت المقابلة في صنف الأكابر.
To commemorate the anniversary of the EPTV, the managing director of the Public Television Cooperation, Shaban Lunikel, visited Lella Deikha Palace after its restoration to accommodate the headquarters of the Marifa or Knowledge, Shababiya or Youth, and the Memory or Dhakira channels. In addition, new news bulletins were announced in Amazigh language on Channel 4 and in English on the Algerian channel Canal Algérie. On the same occasion of October 28th, we stop at some television programs produced by the new youth channel, Shababiya, which hosts young and talented journalists who cover youth issues and themes. Let's follow the insights with Rania Al-Bahri.
On the occasion of the 59th anniversary of the national radio and television, we paid a visit to Shababiya, a new TV channel which managed to establish itself properly in the Algerian audiovisual field since it began airing last July. This channel's personnel is made up of young talented people, and its programs mainly include educational content.
Television has made a giant leap forward in terms of specialized channels, as it is known that general channels are usually oriented toward all segments of the audience. But now we're dealing with a specific segment and a different audience, which is youth.
As the programs of the TV channels are more and more watched in replay, the public television developed its strategy through a web platform in both Arabic and French. This platform can provide many services.
Algerian television has for several years extended the scope of its public services, especially with the launch of a website, which has developed over time to become a service and a deputy department with social networks and programs from our channels.
The creation of a web service consolidates the public service mission carried out by the EPTV. The challenge is cast, the team is now working in full swing, and the objective is to make the Algerian television web service competitive and to hold a prominent position in the media landscape.
Public and private journalists of national media were honored on Thursday in Algiers during a ceremony organized by the Association of Journalists of Algiers in the presence of the Communication Minister Ammar Belhimer. This tribute paid on the occasion of the celebration of National Press Day, which coincides with October 22nd of each year and the 59th anniversary of the recovery of national sovereignty of the national radio and television on October 28, 1962, aims to encourage journalists for their contributions to the promotion of the citizens' right to objective and credible information through the print, audiovisual and electronic media. On this occasion, tribute was also paid to families of the deceased journalists. Moving on to another topic, the French newspaper La Croix has reported on the invisible war in Western Sahara and the hostilities that have resumed for almost a year after the Moroccan violation of the ceasefire on November 13, 2020. On the diplomatic front, the special envoy in charge of the Western Saharan issue and the Maghreb countries, Ammar Bilani, stated that Russia, Kenya, and other countries in the UN Security Council want to introduce substantive amendments to the MINURSO mandate in Western Sahara. After several months of home lockdown, foreign tourists finally found a destination to one of the most beautiful regions of Algeria in the Great South, in Tassili Najer, where we find important prehistoric cave paintings. Let's follow the story by Ines Killo.
The Tassili Najer, classified as a World Heritage, is a series of mountains that is considered an outdoors museum, located in the heart of the desert in the southeast of Algeria, in Janet province, where one of the most important prehistoric cave paintings in the world could be found. Many Russian tourists were able to discover and appreciate the diversity and richness of the cultural and natural landscapes of the region.
It's the first time I come to the Algerian desert. The Ahaggar is magnificent too. It's a very beautiful adventure that we have the opportunity to experience. It is sure that we will share this beautiful experience that we have lived and encourage Russian tourists to come to this destination.
The delegation, which comprising tourism operators and representatives of travel agencies and media outlets, began its tour of exploration of Erkti Huedin, a tourist destination very popular for its rock engravings and archaeological remains, testimony to the ancient history of the region. It is an opportunity for the tourist agencies of southern Algeria to promote tourism in the region, and it's the beginning of the tourist season given the high demand of Russian tourists.
The country that has most tourists is Russia, and the Russian customer needs modern services and means. We will do our best to accommodate these tourists in the best conditions.
This visit is part of the sector strategy aiming to consolidate Algeria's position in the world tourism market and the Russian market in particular.
The chief executive, Mark Zuckerberg, announced on Thursday that his company is rebranding to Meta, with its apps including Facebook, Instagram and WhatsApp operating underneath. Zuckerberg made the announcement during the company's Connect conference streaming Thursday. And with this, ladies and gentlemen, our news comes to a close. Thanks for tuning in to our channel and good night.